Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Happy Sunday, happy Super Bowl Sunday, happy Antarctica hits New Jersey Sunday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is staying warm. I tell you, let me get a sip. I don't remember it being this cold, man, for a long, long time. When I woke up this morning, they said it felt like minus 14 degrees. I just feel bad for the dogs. My dog really just, at some point is looking at me and just goes, yeah, I'm going inside the house. There's nothing you can do about it. So stay warm, guys. Hopefully, it looks like the weather is going to warm up above freezing at some point next week, but we are still going through it. Other than that, guys, thank you very much for joining in, spending a couple of minutes with us on your Sunday. All I ask is take that moment out, take that second out of your busy schedule and support the channel and click that like button. If you haven't done so already, subscribe and share as well, so I can continue to point you in the right direction. So let's talk about it. People woke up last week and go, wow, the technology names are really weak. Yeah, man, that's kind of been going on. We've been watching video after video after video. That's kind of been going on since like the week of Christmas, right? Again, if you've been watching these videos, I haven't been really bashful to talk about like 90% of my trades literally through for this whole year have been to the downside. The weakness, the disconnection, the selling on good earnings. You saw a bunch of names getting sold very, very aggressively on good earnings. PLTR, Meta, right? Meta, it's like, you look at Meta. Meta had a great earnings, and they basically haven't had an uptick. They really haven't had an uptick since earnings, just kind of surviving the 50-day moving average. PLTR, has been on a dead downtrend, ever since that one, that tested that 200 area has just been dead in the water. You had Google coming out with earnings, right? Google coming out with earnings, no good, right? No good. I mean, this is, no good. I mean, at least it's a big, big move down. You had an inside day worth of selling. Microsoft has just been the poster child of what happens when you can't survive the 50-day moving average on numerous multi-month moves. So again, it's been, there's nothing that is out there that you should have woken up last week and been surprised. This has been going on for months, right? Since December. And you can make an argument it started late November, and in just all asset classes. And even, for example, like Bitcoin, right? I don't have Bitcoin. I don't have entitlement for crypto on eSignal, but let's use IBIT as a proxy, right? If you look at IBIT, it was holding on to a multi-month demand zone, and it broke, right? It broke. And you can see here, I believe Bitcoin was like 77, 75 area, and it broke. And, you turn around and you look at the final scoreboard for the week. Yeah, the Dow all-time highs. Remember, guys, the Dow is 30 stocks, right? It's really not that hard. You got the Dow first close over 50,000. Great, fantastic. I don't remember the last time I traded a Dow stock. But the Nasdaq, right? The Nasdaq continues to get hit. You have a scenario of, you turn around, you have this really good relief rally on Friday up 2%, then you go, surely the index, the ETF is up for the week. No, despite the 2% rally on Friday, the NASDAQ 100 is still down 2% for the week. So if we didn't have that rally, we would have been looking at a 4 or 5%, 4 or 5% low for the week. And, the most amazing part about it is, you have a lot of people turning around and go, well, that was the bottom on Friday. And again, maybe it is. I have no idea. I'm not smart enough to give you that opinion. There was definitely the bottom. And my question is, well, why would it be the bottom? Why do you think it's the bottom? Well, because it was the bottom. Okay, cool. There has to be more than a reason why it's the bottom, because again, what I wanted to see for Friday was a washout pre-market down 200-300 points in the Nasdaq and then reverse. The problem is we had that reversal overnight when nobody when 80% of the population was asleep. So it's very, very hard to turn around. It would be very, very hard to turn around to convince a pretty long term participant in the market that the market has put in a bottom when 80% of the people were asleep. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Again, I'm not here to convince you one way or the other. I just look at data, right? And the data for me has been sell bias with extreme outlier events of upside movements here and there. It's exactly what we saw on Friday. Now, the question going into this week: can we continue the bounce? Right? Can we continue the bounce? Because again, obviously, if this was a chart, right? You didn't know what this chart was, and this was a chart, and all this stock was doing was putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs on a weekly basis, and then had one really aggressive bounce on Friday. Would you be long this thing into Monday? Right? I would. It's not a stock that I would buy. Right? And again, I'm not trying to convince you one way or another, but this wouldn't be a stock that I would buy. Would this be a candidate for a day two bounce? Sure, absolutely. Why not? And again, the funny part about it is I actually made a watch list for Monday that is all upside channels, right? Because again, I want to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt, right? Again, I trade day to day. I use the data, the macro data, but I do trade day to day. And I look at this market and I go, okay, show us you can give us one more day run. But the problem is we are below the 50-day moving average. Again, if you've been watching this broadcast for a very, very long time, nothing good happens below the 50-day moving average. Again, you're going to have outlier events. So you're going to have very, very strong spikes those are called trading against, right? Against the momentum. The momentum obviously is down. Again, if you have these massive, massive candles to the downside, and you have literally had 2 up days in the last 2.5 weeks. Well, again, why are you so confident that this was the bottom, right? Again, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the way I look at it is, all right, show me, right? Prove to me, right? I have some good looking second day plays that if we have another dead cat bounce tomorrow, I will be long these things, right? I have no problem being long the market, but it's very, very hard to convince me that number one, to be long below the 50-day moving average, and number two, be long after we've been selling for 3 weeks nonstop with only 2 green candles in the last 2.5 weeks. Again, that's just me. And Bitcoin also as well. Again, I'm not an expert in Bitcoin. I probably know the least amount of Bitcoin, but my whole thing is if it broke down below $77 and that, excuse me, 77, I guess, coin, on a multi-month breakdown, it went down to 60. Well, and now it's back to like 68, 69. Well, why do you think that's the bottom? Isn't that the way charts work? You break down, right? You break down, you have an inside day and you have next leg down. You break out, you have a res day, and then you continue the area. So again, if you are a Bitcoin fan, hey, God bless. I hope that was the bottom for you. But from the technical point of view, when you have multiple month areas of price discovery get breached, again, you're all adults. You can make up your own mind. It's just, for me, it's hard to swallow that anything is a bottom. Once again, when 80% of the people were asleep while this bottoming effect was taking place overnight. Again, however, having said that, if we do have a day two, right? If we have a day two, let's talk about some ideas. MSTR, crappy earnings, blah, 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 but they rallied. Is it possible we have a day two bounce in this thing? Sure, why not, right? I'll watch it. Let's keep an eye on this thing above Friday's channel. NVIDIA actually did quite well on Friday. Most important, NVIDIA got back above the 50-day moving average. At least here, I can justify, right? I can justify buying the stock because it's at least above the 50-day moving average. Again, I'm going to give the bulls every opportunity to try to rally in the first 2 hours of tomorrow's session. But if they don't, I very easily could switch bias because all the data that we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks. But at least NVIDIA, again, is closed above the 50-day moving average. Let's see if it could sustain a second day pulse. Tesla, who's been absolutely destroyed. I mean, really, really destroyed over the last several weeks. Okay, it reclaimed back the 64-day moving average. It closed right on the 150-day moving average. Again, just the same thing as everything else. Show me, right? Show me you can sustain a second day play. Okay, I'll watch it above Friday's channel. Again, I have no problems doing that. Amazon, had a nice bounce off, off the lows, right? Nice bounce off the lows. Put in a hammer, a green close. I mean, the close was higher than the open, despite getting absolutely manhandled throughout the week, including earnings. Is it possible it has a dead cat bounce tomorrow? Sure, why not? Right? Why not? If you're going to bounce things, make sure you bounce things that are closing higher than the open on the previous day, and those are at least the names that will at least give you the highest probability. And then you have names like MU, right? If you guys watched the video on Wednesday, right? I even gave you guys the price. I said, guys, watch 407, watch 407. There's literally nothing else to talk about. Watch 407, watch 407. And all I kept on hearing is, well, I know what I have. I'm not getting shaken out. I know what I'm like, okay, dude, guys, I don't speak investor. Okay. I trade channels. Okay. I don't speak investor. I don't know where the stock is going to be nine months from now. But, we did talk about 407, 407, 407, 407. The stock lost 407 literally the next day and traded all the way down to 363. I know some of you guys had your biggest days ever, which is awesome. And again, it's hard for me to turn around and on MU and say, oh, now it's definitely a long because of the market held. Well, if it gets back above it, I'll even give you this low, right? If it gets back above 413, I would be interested in buying Micron, right? You see that? That would be the equivalent of reclaiming back the 5 and the 10-day moving average. But until then, this is a dead cat bounce within this engulfing candle. Until it can reclaim back 413 on the close, it's deemed as a dead cat bounce. So my question is for everybody, going into tomorrow that are brand new traders, like how important is it for you to be right that Friday was the bottom? Right? How important? And I even got a better question for you. For everybody on Thursday when the world was ending and I saw a whole bunch of cash as a position, cash as a position, cash as a position, how did you magically wake up Friday long in the middle of that in that middle of that rally? Doesn't work that way, guys, right? So the most important part is, guys, you got to ask yourself a question. Do I want to be right or do I want to make money? Okay. And again, guessing where bottoms and tops are, they're cool. They're a cool social media thing. You'll probably get a lot of likes. And if you called the bottom on Friday and if it works that way, that's fantastic. That's above my pay grade. I'm not smart enough to guess the future. But the most important part is I do believe in data. I do believe in multiple reactions off levels of price discovery. And I do know what happens when areas do get breached, both to the upside and to the downside. Again, channels need to be reclaimed. Supply needs to be reclaimed. Demand needs to be breached. Stock cannot go higher until it takes out the previous day's channel. Stock cannot go lower without taking down the previous day's channel. That's just the way market structure works. But hey, if point and clicks and likes and shares and I'm right, look at me, I'm right is your thing, God bless. I'm not here to judge. Air quotes. Right? Guys, God bless anybody. And by the way, who do you guys like in the Super Bowl? I'm not a big gambler. I did actually wager today. And by the way, I'm one of the worst gamblers you're ever going to meet. So this is kind of tongue-in-cheek. We use this information for educational purposes only. I have a couple of different bets set up here. I took Seattle. Okay, I need either Seattle to win straight out, okay, which would be good. I would need to be great. I would need Seattle to win, but the Patriots to cover the 4.5. That'd be great. So when on both sides, the worst thing that can happen today is that the Patriots win. Take that information for what it is. Again, the worst, handicapper in the history of sports betting. Guys, have a great Sunday. God bless. Hopefully everybody's getting what they're looking for. And with God's help, I'll see you on the field on Monday. Take care.